In this session, we are going to talk about operators. And in operators, the agenda for the day is we are going to talk about operators, operands, operator precedence, and we are going to see a sample code and its output. So, do you have any idea of operators? I know you're using operators on a day-to-day life. Whenever you take a calculator, you use the plus, minus, the multiplicative symbols. All these mathematical symbols that you use are called operators. So very simply put, the very first line that you can see says that symbols that operate on one or more arguments or values to give some kind of result. And with the examples you can see that there is a plus operator between 3 plus 5, and you have another set of operators. The second example, which is 14 plus 5 minus 4 into the off symbol 5 minus 3. Can you tell me the value? Calculate it and tell me the value. I'll leave it as a homework. Right? So tell me when you meet me the next time. And what are operands? Operands are the values on which the operators act upon. Like say for example, you add two numbers like 5 plus 3. The plus symbol over here is the operator, and 5 and the 3, these numbers are called the operands. So it could be a numerical variable, like say it could be an integer or floating point or a character, or it could be any primitive type variable, maybe a numeric or a boolean, or a reference to an object. All these are called as operands. And examples of operands, as I told you, a literal numerical value, or maybe an array that is initialized, like as you see in the slide, it is A with the brackets and you have a 2, which means the size of the array is 2, or a char primitive, like say for example in this example there is an integer in double quote and single quotes, which means that this integer is now seen as a character by the compiler. So when I give 4 in single quotes, then this 4 is not an integer, but on the other hand it is a character. These are called precedence, operators precedence. Like say for example in the postfix, you have an expression and then you have the double plus, which means first the expression will be printed and then the double plus operation will act upon, or in other words the unary operators like the increment, the decrement, all these operators have a postfix or a prefix. Then of course you have the multiplicative symbols, the additive symbols, the plus and minus. Do you know what shift is? Have you ever heard of this term? The shift operators, like say for example 5 shift 3 or 5 left shift 3, 5 right shift 3. These are symbols that are usually used by programmers who are designing an electronic motherboard or a chip. So they use these kind of shift operators, and relational operators, which tells you the relationship between two values. And you have more number of operators, like say the equality operators, and you have the bitwise operators, and of course certain logical and conditional operators, and assignment operators, which means that the values on the right side is assigned to the value on the left side of these kind of assignment operators. In these two slides you've come across a lot of operators, and I have not given an explanation, but maybe in the next session we'll see these operators in detail. What you're saying is a sample code of a program with operators. Now if you can just check that I have 4 methods: add, multiply, division and get number, and of course there's also the main method, and I have 2 variables a and b, right? And in the main method I have passed 2 values, 12 and 23, 12 for a and 23 for b. In the system.out.println, you just see I have printed A without the double quotes, which means that A is the variable. Therefore, it should read as 12, and you see a plus symbol just after A, and this is a concat symbol. And now I have added double quotes. I have done plus C over here. There is plus C plus two concatenation symbols sandwiched with C. So what does the C stand for? And as you can see, I have initialized char C as a character. So I have passed a character inside, therefore that character is what I am passing. And now I have the variable B with plus B plus, which are concatenation symbols, and within the double quotes I have the equal to sign, and then I have the concatenation symbol plus, and I've just passed the value of A plus B. Similarly, I have done the same equation, but if you see, I have subtracted B from A. But care should be noted that I have a plus symbol before the braces, which denotes the concatenation symbol, and the minus here that you see, A minus B, is the operator. In the third system.out.println, I have multiplied A with B, and the fourth, I have divided A by B. So these are four methods that I have used, but the system.out.println, you can see that A and B are integers which have been given without double quotes, which means the value of A and B, that is 12 and 23, will be printed with a character inside, that is an empty quote character inside with a plus symbol. Therefore, the output will look like this. When I run the program, it reads as 12 plus 23, and the equal to within the quotes is just printed there. So 12 is the value of A, 23 is the value of B, and 35 is A plus B, where plus is the operator. In the second instance, A is 12, the minus symbol 23, this 12 minus 23, this minus actually has no significance because it is only used as a symbol, a string, as a character over here, and not as an operator. But the minus 11, the equal to is also the same, but the minus 11 is the actual result where B has been subtracted from A, and therefore you get a minus 11. The same way the 12 into 23 and the 12 by 23. Because I have taken it as integers, 12 by 23 is shown as 0. If I had passed it as a float, then I would have got a decimal value, because when I divide two integers, I only get the quotient and not the remainder. So that's why it just shows 0. So care should be taken to pass the correct values or the data types for the variables that you use. So my dear friend, in this session we just saw what operators are, what operands are, the operator precedence, and for better understanding you saw a sample code as to how operators work and its output. So till such time we meet again, it's bye and thank you.